In the shadows of the Cold War, the battlefield was global, but the blood ran African. This is the story of a silent empire, one that overthrew governments, assassinated leaders, and sold freedom for control. This is the story of the Covert Empire. The Central Intelligence Agency, born in 1947, wasn't just America's spy network. It became the weapon of choice in a global chess match, fighting communism, protecting capitalism, and preserving the illusion of democracy. But behind every flag raised in freedom's name there was often a foreign hand, toppling governments, rigging elections, and silencing dissent. In 1960, Patrice Lumumba became the first prime minister of a newly independent Congo. Young, brilliant, unapologetically African, he called for true sovereignty, not just a flag, but control of Congo's rich resources. The West saw danger. The CIA feared Lumumba might turn to the Soviets, not because he was communist, but because he wanted African freedom without foreign masters. By 1961, Lumumba was murdered with CIA support, dismembered and erased from power. In his place, Mobutu, a dictator loyal to Western business. Ghana, 1957, the first sub-Saharan African country to break free. Its leader, Kwame Nkrumah, dreamed of more than independence. He dreamed of Pan-African unity, a United States of Africa. But the dream threatened the empire. Nkrumah refused IMF control. He built schools, factories, and infrastructure without begging the West. In 1966, while Nkrumah was abroad, the CIA backed a military coup. Files declassified years later confirmed it. Nkrumah died in exile, his dream shattered, but never forgotten. In Libya, Muammar Gaddafi seized power in 1969. At first he was dismissed as another strongman, but behind the madness there was method. Gaddafi offered free education, housing, healthcare, electricity, and low-cost fuel. But his greatest threat to the global order? He proposed an African gold dinar, a unified currency to break Africa from the dollar and euro. Suddenly protests erupted. NATO intervened. The United States and CIA-backed rebels surged in. Gaddafi was captured and killed in the streets. Libya fell into chaos, its oil divided, its gold stolen, its future hijacked. Across the continent, the same pattern unfolded. In Guinea-Bissau, CIA destabilized the struggle of Amilcar Cabral. In Angola, UNITA rebels were funded to block independence. In Mozambique, Renamo turned liberation into civil war. Freedom movements became proxy wars, and Africans paid the price. It didn't stop at Africa. In Haiti, the United States helped remove Jean-Bertrand Aristide, twice. In Chile, the CIA overthrew Salvador Allende and installed Pinochet, a dictator who murdered thousands. In Guatemala, Jacobo Arbenz was ousted for daring to return land to his people. While preaching democracy, the CIA funded paramilitaries, armed cartels, and fueled civil wars. In the United States, the 1980s crack epidemic was no accident. It was blowback, collateral from a war fought far from home. Today, the chains look different. Loans, bases, aid, tech contracts. But the control remains. The CIA may not be pulling every string, but the empire still moves in silence. They weren't perfect, but they stood for something bigger than borders, dignity, unity, and an Africa that owned its soul. The Covert Empire feared that, so it buried them. But the truth is not dead. It lives in memory, it breathes in resistance, and it will rise again. Brought to you by Small Axe Production. Subscribe for more untold African history.